Our names are Dyson, Avery, Cindy, Jinwen, and Riley. Currently, downtown Edmonton is suffering from a lack of vibrancy due to the impacts of COVID-19. We have been faced with the question, how do we return Edmonton back to its past vibrancy? Initially, we considered many options, but all were either inefficient or unaffordable. When looking further in this issue, we asked ourselves which groups that were going downtown previously stopped coming, and why.
Looking closer at the case document, we found that a large segment of the downtown population was previously office workers from the various large private and public sector employers. As a result of the COVID-19 lockdowns, these office workers were from commuting to and working in these downtown offices to working entirely online from their homes. Consequently, these people are no longer buying coffees or breakfast from shops downtown or heading over to one of downtown's bars or restaurants after work for an after-work hotel. During the pandemic, this was just how things were. Businesses were either suffering or shut down. People were stuck working at home. These office workers of downtown have gotten used to this new routine and most prefer it. However, now that restrictions have been lifted, businesses that remain in Edmonton's downtown or reopening that were hoping for the return of their pre-pandemic customer base have instead found that base is gone, most opting to work from their homes.
Our group's key issue is coming up with what we believe would be the best method one of these large downtown employers could use to bring their employees back to working in their downtown offices. The stakeholders we would be appealing to would be the large employers of downtown office workers, as they are the ones we are trying to convince to take action with our suggestion. We believe this is an effective way of addressing the downtown vibrancy issue, because if this population returns to downtown, they will once again ideally resume their old spending habits, buying the morning coffee, the post-work grocery run, giving the floundering downtown economy a boost to get on its way to returning to pre-pandemic levels. Furthermore, these office workers would address the historically high downtown building vacancies with their return.
During the process of looking at this key issue, we came up with many alternatives that we ended up not using as a recommendation. Using the SWOT analysis, our group compared responses and actions that employers can make to address this issue. We looked at how expensive each option will be, how effective it will be, and the impact it will have on a company's morale. After this analysis, we decided that having business owners mandate workers back to in-person environments and giving their workers the option for space would be both ineffective at solving downtown Edmonton's vibrancy issue. If we give workers an incentive to go back to work, it may cost more than the other two options, but this would be a form of positive reinforcement, which would provide workers with more motivation to return. We also looked at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. A strength with our recommendation is the 2 LRT lines that go through Edmonton that makes commuting easier and less costly downtown. A weakness would be employees thinking that working downtown is less convenient. It may be difficult to convince workers that office places are better than at-home environments. An opportunity would be that according to a survey conducted by the Edmonton Downtown Business Association, roughly 70% of all employees are anticipating going back to their downtown offices. And lastly, a possible threat would be dealing with employers.
All right, so for our recommendation, we decided to go with offering incentives to employees in exchange for returning to work. The specific incentives we settled on were the employer would pay for public transit passes for their employees, and employees who agree to work in the office will be granted an additional week's worth of paid vacation each year. We believe this is the most effective solution because first and foremost, it uses positive reinforcement and will help boost morale in these offices. Therefore, employees will be encouraged to return to their offices. Second, we believe it will be effective at actually getting all these people to go back to working in person downtown, and thus helping address our key issue. Because these workers have been incentivized to do so, they believe it's in their best interest to go back to working in their offices because they get an extra week off, and they don't have to worry about paying for public transit. While yes, on paper this would be financially more expensive than our other two options for the employer, we determined that the drawbacks from the other two were more significant, so decided on this as the best option.
In conclusion, we believe the lack of people going downtown would best be solved by having large employers in the downtown area offer incentives to their currently working from home employees in exchange for these employees returning to in-person work. Our recommendation isn't going to solve the downtown's issues overnight. However, this is a crucial step in the right direction.